Good morning, travelers, and welcome to Coronado Springs at Walt Disney World Resort. So I am at Coronado Springs today, and I'm going to give you guys a full review of this resort. We actually got in late last night, so I did a couple of short little videos last night, but today we're going to take a look around and explore during the daylight hours. Come with me. Right, this is the lobby of Coronado Springs. It's going to be a little loud this morning because I'm here right about checkout time. So everybody that is leaving today because it's Friday is going to be checking out. So it might be a little loud. So their lobby. So when you walk in from where you get dropped off at the buses or taxis or Ubers, you're going to come in actually on the second level of the building. So that's what this is. So this is where you're going to check in. As you enter the lobby, off to your right is going to be bell service. So if you need assistance with your luggage, this is where you're going to go. As you come downstairs from the main lobby, this is the Barcelona Lounge. This is directly below the main lobby. So in the mornings, they've got coffee, specialty coffee drinks, espresso, and then an awesome seating area here if you need to rest and relax. You exit off to the left of the main lobby. There's the elevators to your left and then a long hallway. This hallway is going to take you to all of the restaurants and eateries that are in the main tower of the building. All right, as we are exiting the hallway from the main lobby, we're coming to like a secondary lobby area, still in the main tower. And this is going to lead us to all of the restaurants and eateries that are here on the main part of the campus. With a beautiful fountain, Panchitos, that is your souvenir shop, gift shop, all your shopping that's here. And in the area right behind that fence or that gate is going to be your first restaurant. So it's called Rick's, Cafe Rick's. They only do breakfast and lunch here at Cafe Rick's. As we continue down the hallway, the next place we're going to come to is Rick's Sports Bar and Grill. So if you continue down this hallway, it's going to be the convention center. But Rick's Sports Bar and Grill is in there. And then this is Mercado. This is going to be your quick service restaurant here at Coronado Springs. Breakfast, coffee, donuts, cronuts. There's a carving station over there, some Italian food. American food here, hamburgers, hot honey sandwiches, chicken tenders, some bowls, poke bowls and acai bowls over there. All of your grab and go stuff. And then checkouts right here. And then if you continue further down the hallway, the final restaurant you're going to come to in this part of Coronado Springs is Maya Grill. They do recommend having reservations for Maya Grill, but they also have a walk-up list. And you can find their full menu, which is going to change, but it's all Spanish-inspired food. The menu is going to change, so you can look that up on the My Disney Experience app to see what they're offering when you're going to be here. Coronado Springs Resort has 4 different, very distinct areas to the resort. There's actually 4 different bus stops if you're staying here. So the first one that you can see right in front of us, that is the tower. That's actually going to be bus stop number 4 if you're coming back from a park. It's labeled bus stop number 1, but they actually stop there last if you're coming back here from a park. So keep that in mind. And then that's the hallway that leads to all of the food. So all of this here is your food and shopping district on the resort. And then we're gonna go explore all the different room areas that they have. This is actually one of my favorite features of the resort. So they have a lake in the middle of the resort, which I will have to find out the name for you. And there are walkways that lead to a bar and a restaurant. It's right in the middle of the lake. Now they do recommend having reservations for that resort, or I'm sorry, for that restaurant. It does have a walk-up list. I believe I looked last night right around peak dinner time, and the wait was only about 15 minutes for a Thursday night. So not too bad. So you could technically do the walk-up list. Just know that you may have a little bit of a wait if it's at peak times. So as we're walking around and exploring here at Coronado today, Coronado is a Spanish-inspired resort. So it is actually a moderate resort from Disney. So last time, you remember, we saw some value resorts, and this time we're at a moderate resort. So it's going to be a little bit of a leveled up experience from a value resort. You're going to have a few more amenities on site, and the rooms are going to be just a little bit bigger, have a little bit nicer amenities inside the room. Like the other rooms didn't have lotion and mouthwash and some of the other like toiletries that you would have. This room does. And I feel like the linens are just a little bit nicer than they were in the value resorts. So that's going to be your main difference between value and moderate resorts here at Disney. So let's keep exploring. So the first two areas we're going to come to are the dig site, which is the pool area, and then the Ranchos Cabanas. So one thing to know about Disney resorts and their pools is their pools are typically reserved for guests of that particular hotel only. So one of the things that Disney has started doing recently is requiring key card access into the pools. So it looks like here at Coronado, they have not implemented that yet. Pool hours, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. I don't see any key card access here, but just know that when you stay, they may implement that. So you may need key card access to get into the pool. So you can't go check out a pool from another resort that you're not staying at. Inside the pool area, they have an awesome sand volleyball pit. It's going to be your poolside bar area. That building right there is the arcade here on property. Got some ping pong tables and also a playground. But this is one of my favorite things about this resort. Is the little Mayan ruined waterfall leading into the main pool area. Similar to most Disney resorts, there's going to be a walking track or a jogging track that encompasses the entire property of that specific resort. So while this one is larger than those value resorts, it does still have the walking track for you. And it is lit, so if you wanted to do that at night, you'd still have some safety. As we're moving into our first section of the resort, this is called Ranchos. So there are 3 individual sections of this resort with these cabanas that have rooms in them, and they're all named something different, and they're all inspired by a different era and form of Spanish architecture. So each individual area is going to be uniquely designed and themed to the specific era that it was designed after. So this is the Ranchos area. I love these maps that Disney puts up all around their resorts. Kind of gives you an overview of both where you are, where you are trying to get to, and just how sprawling and big and beautiful their resorts are. I love the Disney resorts that sit on some form of water. Most of them have water around them or in them or incorporated in them somehow, because we are in Central Florida. If you know anything about me, I love water. I love being close to the water, on the water, in the water. I'm not really a mountains girl unless it's a river or a lake, but I love being close to the water. Next area we are moving into is called Casitas. So this is the Casitas area of the resort, which, if I'm remembering remembering from my Spanish days right, I believe casitas means tiny house. So these may be some of the bigger rooms on property, some of the 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, instead of just the standard studios, which you would typically expect. But I will do some research and I will find that out for you. Still a beautiful area. If you remember in the Ranchos area, that was more desert themed. There was cactuses and a lot of rock, not a lot of greenery. In the Casitas area, we've got palm trees and fountains and green lush grass and flowers. It's a little bit of a difference in the theming and the design of those two areas. As we continue around, we are coming to the area in between the casitas and the cabanas. So there is some big checkers and cornhole and some seating, but there's also another pool around here. This looks like a lap pool. There's lanes. It's a secondary pool area. I was wrong on the location of that second pool. It is not in between the cabanas and the casitas. It is in between 2 of the casitas buildings. Casita 3 and Casita 4 is where that second pool is located. Just took a moment to explore that map back there just to familiarize myself with the resort a little bit more. And it looks like the casitas area is probably the biggest out of all of the 3 areas that they have here at Coronado Springs. So there are 5 casitas buildings, and each of those buildings are fairly large. There are 4 of the Ranchos buildings and 3 of the Cabana buildings. So we've already explored Ranchos. We just took a look around at casitas, which are all the buildings around me right now, and then we're headed over to the cabanas to go take a look over there. So here we are in the courtyard area of the Casitas 1 building. A beautiful fountain here. All the Casitas rooms. So one of the other things to note about Coronado Springs is there is a large convention center here, and they often do conferences for large corporations. So you may see people walking around in fancy clothes. That was a comment made by my sister-in-law last night, that everybody was dressed so fancy here. And I think it's just the people that are in business attire or here for conferences, because I still walk around in Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse garb all day long, and I don't feel out of place at all. So you may see people walking around in business attire. It doesn't mean that this resort has a dress code. It's just that they have a lot of conferences here, so you may see people walking around in business attire. Alright, so we are here in the courtyard in front of the Gran Destino Tower, or they call it the Tower. So this is just the courtyard area, the lawn. They've got some seating overlooking the lake. They've got, I don't know if you can see it in the frame there, some chess, ground chess. There's checkers in the background. And there's some kiddos playing cornhole. This is also where they do the movies on the lawn. So you'll see that on your entertainment schedule. Last night they were watching Inside Out 2 down here. And we are staying in the tower, so we actually got to watch it from one of our rooms right up there. All right, we've just turned the corner to explore the final area of the Coronado Springs Resort. This is the cabanas. And as you can see, there is a white sand beach area that covers most of the cabanas section. So let's go explore. So one of my favorite things about Disney-specific resorts is that they make it so easy to have days where you just stay at the resort and you're not bored. So I actually recommend that to most of my clients who book with me, is that they plan a resort day, if they can, within their trip. And that resort day, good morning, and that resort day allows them to relax and not have to feel like they have to go all the time. And you go home from your vacation not feeling like you're run more ragged and you need a vacation after your vacation. So Disney does that well. It's not like staying in a hotel or a motel off property. There's plenty to do, plenty to keep your kids entertained without feeling rushed. You can come take a nap in one of the hammocks on the white sand beach overlooking the lake. They just give you plenty of opportunity to not be rushed, which I feel like Disney gets a bad rap for. So these are going to be your cabana rooms. Most of them, just judging by the size, do look like they are studios. But I'm going to head into the lobby and I'm going to see if I can find an expert here at Coronado Springs who can tell me a little bit more about each area and what's included in those. And here is your third and final pool area, located in the cabanas section. So as you can tell, it is smaller, quieter, not all the hustle and bustle. So if you're looking for a small, quiet place, this seems like the place to come. So I just got done exploring the Coronado Springs Resort and just wanted to share, if you're looking for a practical way without, how do I say this, shoving Jesus down people's throats, right? When I was walking around, it took me probably about 45 minutes to walk the whole resort and just kind of explore. There were 9 people that said good morning. They smiled, they said good morning, asked how my day was, just in passing as we were walking by each other. And what I like to do when that happens is I like to, after I've passed that person, after I've smiled and said good morning or good afternoon, whatever it may be, I just say a quick prayer for that person. And that is a practical way to invite Christ into their life. And it's not just a, Lord bless them on their way prayer. It is a legitimate prayer that if they are not a believer, that God would soften their heart and give them opportunities to run into believers who are being led by the Holy Spirit, who can show them the way, the truth, and the life. And it can be as simple as that. That could be the thing that leads to their salvation if they are not a believer. And then I also just quickly say, and if they are a believer, Lord, strengthen their faith so that they can spread the seeds and share the gospel wherever they go. So that's just a quick, simple way that you can invite Christ with you while you're on vacation, even at Disney World.